is a dead man. Let the gunshots ring. Shadows calling. Let the gunshots ring. Fought the devil. Let the gunshots ring. Like trains coming. Let the gunshots ring.
Howdy folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am your host, the Mighty Bjorn, and today for you, I'm going to be doing some stuff with my Tisas Raider. I'm actually going to be doing some ammo testing. Now, before everybody gets excited and thinks about chronograph testing and shuts the video off, no, I will not be doing chronograph testing. I do not have a chronograph here with me today. I will leave that kind of thing to Paul Harrell. That's his bag. That's not my bag. In all honesty, to really dive into why, it comes down to, well, something he recites every time he does chronograph testing. Chronographs don't agree with each other from one chronograph to another. Weather, temperature change, lighting, things of that nature can change your results. So basically, I don't see a point in doing the chronograph testing. The next thing is well, the average person doesn't have a chronograph. They're not taking their ammo out to the range and chronographing it. And for those who are out there chronographing their ammo, that's fine. More power to you. But a lot of people, the average person, I don't believe does that. They probably just look at the box and go, oh, this goes 850 feet per second. Sounds good. And buys it. Okay. So, really quick, couple things. Discord server. Got a Discord server. Links down below in the video description. Come on in, join us. We talk about guns and how much we hate the ATF. So, yeah, you know, if you're a like-minded person, guns, prepping, tactical gear, more than welcome to join. Also, like, comment, subscribe for the video. That really does help me out as a YouTuber. I do appreciate that kind of thing. I'm really getting tired of the YouTube algorithm burying my videos all the time. There's not much I can do about it, and of course it's just gotten worse since I started doing gun content. Next thing, Patreon supporters. I want to say thank you very much to the Patreon supporters. You help make videos like this happen because that helps give the channel a budget, helps supply the channel with things like ammunition and things of that nature. But let's dive on into today's video and the whole basis of what exactly I'm doing and that type of thing. So what I have is I have a cornucopia, if you will, of different types of ammo, of different styles. And essentially, when I did my video of the Tisas Raider unboxing and first shots, I kind of had issues with feeding the S&B hollow points. Now, S&B hollow points, they're definitely not the best hollow point on the market. Yeah, they work, but they kind of don't feed so well in my pistol. And it kind of got me curious because as I've shot about 400 rounds through my handgun, my Tisas Raider at this point, it seems like right now that full metal jacket round nose from Federal is actually a good way to go. But I've gotten curious about other types of ammo as well, especially because HR Funk did a 1,000 shot review on his Tisas Raider, and he had brought up different types of ammo and said that some ammo he had issues with, some ammo he didn't, that the Tisas Raider might be a little bit picky. So essentially, the objective here is, well, there's a couple objectives. in today's video. One objective is to hopefully save you some money. Essentially, I'm doing ammo testing on different types of ammo I feel that people are going to commonly find in the gun store, that they would commonly buy. Now, it doesn't mean that's what they're going to buy, but that's kind of what I was going for when I was picking what ammo I was going to test here today. The next thing is just to, I don't want to call HR Funk a liar, but essentially I just want to see, to more or less prove, is it a break-in thing? Is it a is the Tisas Raider an ammo picky 1911, which is, honestly, it's highly possible. Some 1911s are ammo picky, some are not ammo picky. It's just based on the design, who made the 1911, etc. So I want to check that out as well. So what I have here, let's talk about the contestants here today. Now, so far out of the Tisas Raider, I've primarily fired S&B hollow points, which, as I stated, I've actually had issues. It's been issues getting it to initially chamber. Once I can get around to initially chamber, it does seem to feed fairly reliably. So there is that. I'm actually going to save this for the end after I actually get the gun broke in, because that's actually another objective of today's video, is to finally get my Tisas Raider actually officially broke in. The next one that's been absolutely reliable is the Full Metal Jacket round nose from Federal, and these are also 230 grain. Everything I have here is 230 grain, by the way. These have been absolutely reliable. These run through the gun like a champ, and essentially I have these here today as a control group, just that when I start doing the ammo testing, I just want to prove that yes, the Tisas Raider is functioning as intended. Now, another round that I don't have here today, and actually I've been having problems getting this ammo, is actually PMC Bronze, which I found actually shoots the most accurate out of my Tisas Raider. Now, the next one I have here, if I understand it correctly, this is supposed to be Winchester's 45 ACP mil-spec ammo. This is a 230 grain round as well, and it is a flat nose. So I'm actually really curious on how this flat nose Full Metal Jacket is going to cycle through the Tisas Raider, just because of having some issues with the hollow points. But this is Winchester service grade, so this isn't the white box stuff. The next one I have here is Fiocchi training ammo. This is just a 230 grain Full Metal Jacket round nose. Once again, no thrills. And that's one I can commonly find in the gun store, which is why I picked it as well. Now, this one here I actually picked on purpose. This is actually an ammo type HR Funk said in his video he had trouble with. This is CCI Blazer Brass. This is 230 grain, and this is also a Full Metal Jacket round nose. And it was interesting because when he was discussing it in his 1,000 round review, this was the only Full Metal Jacket that he highlighted that he had issues with, and he thinks he knows why. And basically it came down to it was just slightly longer than other Full Metal Jacket. And essentially what I want to find out, or what I want to try to prove, is it an issue with the Blazer Brass, or was it an issue with the box of Blazer Brass he got? Maybe he got a bad batch of ammo that was slightly out of spec. So we're going to put that to the test today as well. And then finally, we're spending some big bucks, boys, because we got a box of Federal Premium 230 grain hollow points. And wow, these Hydra shocks, well, I was very shocked at the price tag on these, but I'm not going to discuss that. But we're going to give these a shot. Now, unfortunately, a viewer had recommended me another hollow point, and it was literally late last night, so by that point it was too late. But someone had recommended me Winchester, I believe it was actually Winchester white box jacketed hollow points in 230 grain. So if anybody has, with a Tisas Raider, has tried out Winchester White Box 230 grain hollow points, go ahead, comment down below. Let me know how your results went, because obviously the more we share information, the more we can learn from each other on how these Tisas Raiders are working out. And honestly, just the 1911s in general, because honestly, you know, Springfields can have their own issues. Kimbers can have their own issues. You know, everybody makes 1911s anymore at this point, even Glock. I just heard the screams of 1,000 Glock fanboys. And essentially what it comes down to is the more we share, the more we can learn from each other. So I think now with the testing, I think the place I'm going to start with is I'm going to start at 25 yards, and I'm just going to do some, well, okay, I fouled that up. Actually, the place I'm going to start with is I'm going to start with some Federal American Eagle, and I'm going to just do some functionality testing just to essentially show that the pistol works properly. All right, so I got the 230 grain full metal jacket round nose from Federal loaded. Let's fire off. I'm going to fire off 2 mags just to show that it functions the way it is supposed to. Got a failure to feed there. There we go. That's odd. It was actually the first failure to feed I've actually gotten with the full metal jacket round nose. So I tell you what, I got 3 mags loaded up. We're going to test all 3. Now sometimes I have issues still with the slide lock, and with that's a break-in issue. I noticed as I've been using the pistol that it's been getting more reliable, and when I hit the slide lock that'll release, but sometimes it still won't do it. It's got to break up the coating a bit more. Okay, we're good. So 1 failure to feed, I don't know, that could have been a mag issue. I'm not 100% sure, because the rest ran absolutely fine. All right, so now we're going to go to the bench testing, and I think actually the place I am going to start is actually going to be with the Winchester service grade, because that's actually the ammunition of the full metal jackets I am probably the most curious about. Okay, I figure I'd take a quick moment here to show off the actual different ammos so you can actually see them before I get to doing the bench testing. Now the first round I have here, this is the CCI Blazer Brass, and as you can see it is a round nose, and actually realistically I can barely tell the difference between that and the Federal full metal jacket round nose sitting right next to it. The next one is the Fiocchi full metal jacket round nose, and then we have the Winchester full metal jacket flat nose, and then the Federal premium hollow point with the nice spike there in the middle, and then I have the SMB, so you can just kind of see the differences between the different ammos, because yeah, literally not all ammo is made equal. Really the only 3 that are close to even being close together is the 3 different full metal jacket round nose. The other 3 rounds, especially the 2 hollow points, are just completely different, even in the length of the bullet itself. I actually think, looking at these, even though the full metal jacket, or sorry, that the Federal is a hollow point, and I've been having issues with my Tisas Raider and hollow points, I think these hollow points actually will cycle no problem in my Tisas Raider. But let's get to doing the testing here. Let's start with the 25-yard bench testing, and essentially all I'm going for is looking at the size of the groups, not necessarily so much the placement. All right, folks, got a full magazine here, 8 shots of the Winchester service grade, which is the Full Metal Jacket flat nose and 230 grain. Let's see if we can get these to chamber, and we're going to see what kind of grouping we can get, which I did get a failure to chamber. Okay, let's pull the slide lock back and let's take a look. Okay, there we go. We got it chambered. Now, I wanted, there's one other thing too. The table that I brought out to do this part of the testing with was a bit too low. So I'm actually back at 30 yards instead of 25 yards. Not much further back, but let's see what kind of grouping we can get at 30 yards with the Winchester service grade, and see if it will reliably cycle. Okay, I have a jam. That's interesting. It's partially fed, but the slide lock engaged. I must have engaged the slide lock. I have to say, for Full Metal Jacket ammunition, this is some pretty spicy stuff. Anyway, let's check out the grouping on the target. All right, folks, so here's a grouping which, honestly, I wouldn't consider it god-awful, but I wouldn't consider it impressive either, especially because of these two over here. Now, if it wasn't for these two, that's actually a pretty impressive grouping, especially because we have two side by side right here, and I almost nailed the bullseye there. So if I just count these 6 shots, pretty good grouping, but unfortunately, and I don't believe those were me, although that is some pretty spicy stuff. The first shot kind of gave me a shock because it was a bit more spicy than I was expecting in the recoil. All right, folks, I'm going to tape these holes up. We're going to go back 30 yards. We're going to test out another ammo. All right, folks, set up here with another magazine of ammo. This time I'm loaded with the CCI Blazer Brass, which is a 230 grain Full Metal Jacket round nose. Now this is the ammunition that HR Funk said he had trouble with, or at least he highlighted that he had trouble with. So we're going to give this a shot and see how it works. Let me get my ears on. Let's see if we can get this cycling, and let's see what kind of group we can get at 30 yards. Okay, got the cycle no problem actually. Really quite impressed. So in our last round, failure to feed again, just like I did for the Winchesters there. but essentially the ammunition cycled no problem. Otherwise, let's go downrange and let's see what we got. All right, folks. Well, now you really want to talk about something interesting. We have 1, 2, 5. Okay, not 5 total, but actually 3 total right there. So 3, 4, 5. I got 3 shots chained together, but still, that only accounts for 8 shots. I have no idea where the rest of the shots went, let alone that grouping is horrible. Not impressed by this grouping whatsoever. You know what? Let me tape up these shot holes. I actually want to give that another shot. All right, folks. I'm loaded up with 8 more rounds of the CCI Blazer Brass. And also, I have switched the mag. Now, by the way, I've been using the metal form mags. And actually, except for outside of the, first shots video, I've been using the metal form mags. And I'm starting to wonder if maybe there's not an issue with this one magazine, which is why the gun keeps, essentially it keeps, the slide lock keeps engaging as if the magazine's empty on the last round. So I'm kind of wondering if there's not a mag issue. So we're going to try another mag and see what's going on. Okay, no problems that time. So maybe the issues I was having was a mag issue. Either ways, let's go down range and let's see what the grouping is like. Well, there's one there. There's one there. And the rest is a mystery. Folks, that's not me. That is definitely... I would, to actually get an accurate grouping of this ammo, I think I would honestly have to recite the pistol. And even those 2 shots being that far apart, that's, yeah, that's not a very good grouping, even with just those 2 shots. All right, we're going to try a different ammo now. All right, folks, we're set up again. Now, this time, I have 8 shots of the Fiocchi Full Metal Jacket. Let's get my ears on, and then I will get this loaded up, and we will see what kind of grouping we can get at 30 yards. Hopefully, it's better than what I seen from the CCI Blazer Brass. And a jam, failure to feed. Is it? Nope. Slide lock. Wonder why the slide lock keeps engaging. All right, let's go take a look at that grouping and see what we got. All right, folks, so there's our grouping. We got 1, barely on paper, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Not really doing the best today for accuracy at 30 yards. But, and that's, honestly, that's not a very good grouping either from the Fiocchi ammo. Could be me, could be the ammo. I don't know so much because of the kind of grouping we saw with the Winchester ammo. But let's test out the Federal Premium Hollow Point Hydroshock ammo next. I want to take a moment here before I load up my Tisas Raider and actually discuss why I don't like hyper ammo, because this is going to be a quick discussion. And this literally comes down to price tag. So this is only a 20-shot box, and for this test I'm about to do, I've essentially shot 8-shot groups with every test, but for this one I'm only shooting 5 because this was $30 for 20 shots. This is literally one of the more expensive hollow points you can buy on the market. Now, it's not the most expensive, but when you consider that it's literally the same price for 50 shots of Full Metal Jacket round nose from Federal for the American Eagle, and then it's $30 for 20 shots of the Hydroshock here. That is quite salty, and here's the thing. I want to be able to use this ammo for other tests today that I'm going to be doing for this video. And obviously, I really don't have enough ammo to go around. And considering the price tag of something like what it costs for, you know, Winchester hollow points or Remington Golden Saber or some of the other hollow point ammos out there, yeah, these are quite salty. But let's get these loaded up. And here's the other thing too. From what I've seen testing wise, a lot of these types of hyper ammo, these personal defense ammo, like the Federal Premium Hydroshocks here, they barely perform better than something like a hollow point from Winchester White Box. And of course, like the Winchester White Box hollow points in 230 grain, they're a 50 count box for about the same price as this 20 count box. So it's, yeah. But let's get this loaded up. And get my ears on here. And hopefully we're actually going to get a shot group worth something, because the last couple types of ammo I shot definitely did not give me good shot groups. So let's see what the Federal can do. Oh wow, that's really jammed. Okay, now we got a serious jam with the Federal here. Hold on a second. All right, folks, let's go check out the target and see what the Federal did, the Federal Premium did compared to everything else I've shot so far at 30 yards. All right, folks, really not impressive. That's the only hit. I hit the edge of the paper. my aim point was up here because I was actually anticipating that the round was going to drop. You're telling me the round dropped that low in the Tisas Raider? Oof. All right, let's do some other drills here. Let's see what we get. I'm going to post up a new target first. All right, folks, we're at 10 yards now. I got a new target up, and I got 9 shots here loaded. This is the Federal American Eagle full metal jacket round nose. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3 sets of failure drills, also known as the triple tap. All right, folks, let's go take a look at the target. All right, folks, so this is the grouping we got here. So we got 6 shots on the body. Not a bad grouping, realistically. Could be better, but could be worse. These shots are great. These shots are a little low. We got 1 in the jugular, so I'd say the guy's going to bleed out pretty quick there. And yeah, his day's over with those 2 shots. So pretty good, except for, once again, I'm going to actually do a teardown here and find out what's going on. For some odd reason, the slide lock keeps engaging, and I have no idea why. And that's actually what the issue is right now. So I'm going to do a teardown, see what's going on, and then we'll try something else here. All right, folks. Right now I'm loaded up with the Winchester service grade. We're going to do some more failure drills and see what happens. Okay, let's go take a look at the target. So, all right, folks, we got a really good grouping here on the chest. Very good grouping on the chest. I mean, that'd be a lung shot. Most of these would hit the heart. That would have probably hit the other lung. Those 2 ended his day as they entered his nose, and that would definitely get his throat bleeding. So, yeah, I'd say he's dead, Jim. All right, let's try a different ammo, see what we get. All right, folks, now I'm loaded up with the CCI Blazer Brass. And honestly, this is not going to be a pleasure, because when I shot the 2 mags over there at 30 yards, I was getting all kinds of crap in my face. I don't know if it's unburnt powder or what it is, but only the CCI is doing it. That being said, another thing real quick. A bit ago, before I shot that round off of the Winchester service grade just a little bit ago, I did a disassembly of the gun to see if there's anything going on. I did not lube the gun or anything like that. I just disassembled it, looked at everything, reassembled it, and we're going to see if it's going to continue working properly as it did for the Winchester service grade. All right, let's get this underway. And we got a jam. Yep, that's just a jam failure to feed. And unfortunately, we lost a round. I'll recover that round in a little bit. Let's just take and see the 8-shot group that I got. All right. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't tell. 5, 6, 7, 8. So actually, I put one through a hole that I put in the target earlier. Not bad grouping. This one's me. This was a flyer. Okay. I knew I aimed. When I pulled the trigger, it was one of those I pulled the trigger a little fast. That I knew I was aiming low. Okay. This one here, I thought I was aiming a little bit higher than I did apparently. But here's the thing. All these shots are a little low too. So this CCI ammo, the Blazer Brass, seems to be shooting low compared to everything else that I'm shooting. But anyway, let's try the Fiocchi Full Metal Jacket Round Nose next. All right, folks, now we got the Fiocchi 230 grain Full Metal Jacket Round Nose. Let's do some failure drills. Let's see what kind of grouping we can get. Let's see what kind of reliability we can get. Okay, let's check out the target. All right, folks, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Everything with the Fiocchi ammo shot low too. Isn't that just interesting? So essentially, so far what I've seen is at 15 yards, or sorry, yeah, 15 yards, the Federal ammo is shooting pretty close to being on, and the Winchester ammo is shooting close to on, and the CCI and the Fiocchi is shooting low. So that's something to keep in mind, and I'll come to give you a conclusion about that in a little bit. But we still got the Federal Premium to shoot. Let's shoot that off. Let's see what we get. All right, folks. Now I'm loaded up with the Federal Premium hollow points. Okay, buried itself in the feed ramp. There we go. Just like the S&B does. Buried itself in the feed ramp again. Okay, let's check out the target. All right, folks, so we got a pretty good grouping right here. I mean, it's a little low, but it's still fairly good, especially this shot right here. That definitely would have took the lung. We got 2 in the throat. I mean, pretty much 1 in the Adam's apple, 1 in the major artery, and then, yeah, that one right in the nose would have ended his day. General Pat would be proud of that because he always said, come on, shoot me in the nose. So, yeah, not too bad. Although, you know, that Federal ammo, another hollow point, proven to be unreliable, just like the S&B did. Now, it's proven to be a little bit more reliable than the S&B did, but let's try something else. I got 2 more tests I want to do before I conclude this video. All right, let's play a little game for fun. I got 2 shots of 4 different ammo loaded up in this. Now, keep in mind, I have 6 different types of ammo here. And once I go through this mag, I'll tell you in what order what ammo was. Not bad. Okay, so for those of good guessing skills, the first one was the Federal Hydra Shock, and then it was the Blazer Brass, and then it was the Fiocchi, and then it was the Winchester Service Grade. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some shooting off camera just to kind of break the pistol in some more, and then I'm going to come back and I'm actually going to do I'm going to try the S&B ammo, because by that point I will have over 600 rounds through the gun and it should be broke in. So let's get this gun broke in, right? All right, folks, I'm back. I've shot up some of that well, I shot up the last of that ammo. I am at about 600 rounds, and I'm about ready to shoot 601, actually total 616. And this is the S&B hollow points. So let's see if I finally got this broke in, or if this is going to cooperate or whatever. And then I'm going to do a bit of a conclusion here. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it didn't load. Did the same thing as before, where it just nosedive. Okay, now we got the feed. Okay. So that initial feeding on these S&B hollow points seems to be the issue. Once you get them to feed, they seem to cycle no problem. Hold on a second, I had a failure to battery. That was my fault. That's operator error, nothing to do with the gun. There we go. Yeah, she's a rank dirty girl, ain't she? You see that nasty oil coming out the back? Yeah, she's dirty. All right, so I tell you what, it's hot out of here in the range. Let me get in some shade, and I'm going to do a bit of a conclusion here and give you some final thoughts about this whole test. All right, folks, I am tuckered out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear my Tisas Raider here quick, which it is clear. I literally just emptied it on the range. But for the brevity of YouTube, just proving that it's clear, because I am going to be handling it a little bit. So I'm going to give a bit of a conclusion and more details on the thoughts of the ammo selection. Because here's the thing, I think there's three criteria that people use to select ammo. The first criteria, and it seems like to be the most common criteria for people selecting ammo that I've noticed, and this is going from gun forums, and this is going from Facebook posts, etc., is what's the cheapest brand in the gun store, and what's the availability. Which is one reason why the ammo I brought here today is what I brought here today. Except for the CCI and the Federal Premium, they're all fairly reasonably priced 45 ACP ammo. The CCI for Full Metal Jacket round nose is a little salty. That's actually was the most expensive Full Metal Jacket round nose by $10. And honestly, in my opinion, it gave me the least amount of performance. I'll get to that in a bit. The second criteria that I see is brand recognition. My daddy shot Winchester. My uncle shot Remington. I don't know. My brother shoots Federal. That recognized brand name. It seems to be another criteria people use to pick ammo is what brand names they recognize on the shelf. And I would say that goes in combination with cheapest price. Pretty much what's the cheapest and what's a brand name I recognize. They kind of go hand in hand, you know. And then I would say probably the third is, and I know people might chuckle about this, but honestly, the GunTube crowd. Hickok 45 shoots Federal. Paul Harrell shoots Remington, so I shoot Remington. Grand Thumb shoots LAX ammo, so I shoot LAX ammo. HR Funk shoots House of Pain munitions, so I shoot House of Pain munitions. They're just examples, folks, before anybody gets triggered on whatever. And I'm not trying to single out any YouTuber. I personally, when it comes to ammo, everybody's got their own criteria of what they pick. I'm just, essentially, I picked those because they were reasonably priced, except for, I would argue, the Federal Premium, the Hollow Points, and they're all recognizable brand names. And they're all names, they're all brands that I've seen various YouTubers shoot, from Paul Harrell to Grand Thumb to, you know, HR Funk and so on and so forth. So that's, I kind of try to fit all three criterias in this video when it came to the ammo selection. I think one thing is that I concreted here as I had set multiple objectives for this video. Understand, this isn't scripted. This is off the cuff, folks. One objective was to hopefully save you some money. That if you go out and you buy a Tisas Raider, that there's ammo that you may just go, well, I see in this Bjorn guy shoot Blazer Brass out of his Blazer Brass out of his Tisas Raider, and he wasn't happy with the performance, so I'm not going to pay for that ammo. But, you know, that was one of the objectives. Not singling out not singling out the Blazer Brass, but I'll get to that here in a minute. I was just using it as an example. The next objective was to find out if there was a reliability issue, if I was going to have feed issues, constant feed issues with the Blazer Brass, because HR Funk mentioned that he had feed issues with Blazer Brass. I'm going to say no, I didn't. Although I did have feed issues. I just didn't have constant feed issues. That being said, well, I'll dive on it to more of that in a minute, because I want to talk about the performance of the ammos that I saw and give my thoughts of the ammo performances, but I want to save that for the end. The final objective was, or sorry, not the final objective. The next objective was to find out if the Tisas Raider is an ammo picky 1911. Now, for anyone not familiar with 1911 platforms, not all 1911s are created equal. Some 1911s will just chomp on every single thing out there. Some 1911s are unreliable till you break them in. These are guns you got to break in, folks. Some 1911s, even after you break them in, are ammo picky. I think this one's a little bit both of it. I don't think it's, even now after 600 rounds, I still don't think it's quite broken in yet, to be honest. But that being said, I also do see some ammo pickiness in this gun, which was actually a conclusion that HR Funk got after he had shot 1,000 rounds, that he felt that the gun was ammo picky as well. Now, with that being said, I think that concretes one very important thing when you purchase a gun and you purchase ammo and you're going to use it for self-defense, hunting, whatever. Get to a range, test your ammo. See how it performs out of the gun. See how it shoots out of the gun. See if you need to adjust your sights. See if that ammo is going to even feed through the gun. That is probably one of the most important things, It is ridiculous to think about, and yes, I've heard about this, where people will literally go out, buy a gun, buy a box of ammo, go to a range, shoot one bullet out of it, go, yep, it shoots, and then carry it everywhere and never actually do thorough testing. Folks, do thorough testing on your ammo and your firearm. If you're going to carry it out in the field, I don't care if it's hunting, I don't care if it's for concealed carry, I don't care if it's for STFH, whatever, shit hits the fan, Tiatwaki, whatever you want to call it, the end of the world as we know it. Get out there, test your firearms. Okay? I can't emphasize that enough, which is why I raised my voice so much. Finally, the last objective was to break in this gun. Yeah, I mean, it feels a little bit more broken, but honestly, I don't think it's broken yet. which shows how tight the Tisas Raiders are. When I pulled this out, when I pulled this out, I mean, I'm still getting very little in the way of slide play. I'm getting no barrel play, or at least no noticeable barrel play. When I pulled this out of the box, the first thing I noticed was how tight this gun was. So this needs more. I need to shoot this more to break it in. It's not broken yet. So unfortunately, I failed that objective. All right, so ammo conclusions. The ammo test. So what do we have? Okay, so I used, first thing to start the test was, if you watch the beginning of the video, there was a lot of reliability issues I was having. I think that was operator error. I don't think it was my thumb was hitting the safety or the slide release, because what I did was I tore down the handgun and I reassembled it and it went away. That just completely stopped. So I think the last time I disassembled the gun, cleaned it and reassembled it, that I screwed something up. That something wasn't aligned right or whatever. So that was not the gun, folks. That was operator error. That was definitely on me. Now, that being said, not every issue I had was on me. And this is where I'm going to get to the ammo part of the video. Where should I start? I think I'm going to save the blue ribbon loser for last. So let's start with the winners. How about that? So we'll start with we'll start with the Federal American Eagle. The Federal American Eagle off camera continued to perform how it's always performed. Oh, and by the way, folks, the B-roll video at the beginning of the video here, that was actually the shooting I'd done off camera. Not all the shooting, but a part of the shooting. So that way you could see that, yeah, the gun ran reliably. But with the Federal ammo, you know, off camera, it ran absolutely fine. It continues to hold its accuracy. I can't complain about the Federal ammo when it comes to the Federal full metal jacket round nose at 230 grain. It's good stuff, and it's not expensive. You know, $30 a box, folks. That's what it's costing me in my local area to get Federal. I can actually get it cheaper online. And actually we got a tie here, because this Smith & Wesson, or Smith & Wesson, I don't even know why I said Smith & Wesson, the Winchester, the Winchester service grade, it performed neck and neck. Off camera, it performed absolutely reliably. I was really quite surprised because it's a full metal jacket flat nose. Now, that being said, between the two rounds, the Winchester service grade feels a bit spicier than the Federal American Eagle does. If I'm going to dead set on that, I'm going to carry this gun for concealed carry, which I'm not quite there yet because it's not broke in. I'm going to end up coming back out here and doing more tests where it's going to be more thorough, where I'm going to be looking at ammo effectiveness, because honestly, of all the ammos that I've shot through the pistol, it's either going to be PMC Bronze and Full Metal Jacket Round Nose, Federal American Eagle and Full Metal Jacket Round Nose, or that Winchester Service Grade. When it came to the accuracy of the rounds, it was neck and neck, and honestly, in my opinion, I think at the end of the day, it's just going to come down to which is more effective when it comes to doing damage. The next round, I want to say was the, God, this one's hard. I want to say was the Fiocchi Full Metal Jacket Round Nose at 230 grain. Here's the thing though with the Fiocchi. When I did the long range test, I did not see where the Fiocchi had hit the target, except for on the very bottom of that one spot. The Fiocchi shoots low, which also resorts back to test your ammo. It shoots way low compared to all the other ammos that I've tested. Yeah, it shoots way low. I also did have a few feeding issues with the Fiocchi, and that was even after I had fixed the other issue I was having with the Tisas Raider, that it was still having feed issues from time to time. It wasn't a constant feed issue, but it was not feeding 100% reliably. And honestly, it wasn't feeding reliably enough that I would consider that as an ammo I would use for concealed carry or duty or anything else. The next ammo I want to talk about, you know what, I'm going to have to say the CCI, Full Metal Jacket Round Nose, because honestly, yes, that ammo shot low. That ammo actually did cause a lot of jamming issues for a Full Metal Jacket Round Nose, more so than the Fiocchi, and honestly, probably more so than any of the hollow points did. But with that being said, it shot a little low. So at least I could put lead on target. And while it's still fairly cheap compared to my opinion, the Blue Ribbon Loser, and I know I'm going to hear the screams of the Federal fanboys right now. The Blue Ribbon Loser was the Federal Premium. For how much it cost for 20 shots, I was having feeding issues left and right for how inaccurate it actually shot out of the gun. Even at close ranges, it shot inaccurately. Some of it I could probably contribute to me, but not all of it. And honestly, yes, while I have issues initially loading SMB ammo, the SMB ammo performs better than the Federal at half the price. Actually less than half the price, considering I got that box of SMB ammo for, I think it was $23 or $24 for a box of 50. And it was $30 for a box of 20 for that Federal Premium. So yeah, go out there, test your ammo, train. And I know this was a really long video, but yeah, I think I'm finally going to wrap it up at that. Folks, hopefully y'all learned something. If there's any ammos out there that you have tried in a Tisas Raider, I'm only asking for Tisas Raider. Well, you know what? Any 1911. But please say whenever you recommend an ammo in the comment section below, say what type of 1911 you have. Because I'm definitely going to be paying very close attention to the Tisas Raider ones, because I'm going to be considering that myself, that it's like, hey, I tried this ammo from Remington, give this a shot. Okay, sure. Maybe after so many comments of that, I'll make another video like this of like, hey, let's test all these ammos out of the Tisas Raider and see what kind of results we get. And hopefully we get something a lot better next time, because the early issues was killing me. I was actually getting to the point where I was getting frustrated. That still being said, for a $700 1911, I still love this gun. This thing is a lot of fun to shoot, to be honest, for a 45. Anyway, folks, finally, we're at the end. Thank you all again for watching. Hopefully you liked the video and have yourself a wonderful day.